A lot of times when people enter the Christian faith, and they have issues in their life. And that's the reason why a lot of people get baptized. They are going through a challenge, they're going through a situation. So they see fit, the best thing is to get baptized and come into the knowledge of God. But what they don't really know is, because they want that one or few issues that they have going on in their life resolved, getting baptized is not instantaneously going to fix it. It will not. Because once you get baptized, getting baptized is the first step to getting on the straight and narrow path. Remember, a lot of us, we have had years and generations, decades, centuries of wrongs that have been done in our lives and in our bloodline. So some of the issues that we face is not simply because we did them. Some of the things are because of generational inheritance, which is negatively placed on our lives. So in that sense, when we come into the body of Christ, we have to know and understand that it is not going to be an overnight fix. There are laws and decrees that we have to follow and adhere by that came from Jehovah God Yahweh Himself. One of my favorite scriptures, chapters, and verse that I love to use is Deuteronomy 28. And if you read that whole thing, you will see, know, and understand how to go about doing certain things and reversing certain things. Especially if it's a generational curse, you have to first identify and acknowledge what the issue is to correct it. God is not going to fix it overnight. He's not. So we have to do certain things physically to correct it. Everything is spiritual before it is physical. So if it's happening in the spiritual realm, certain things we have to do physically to fix that situation. So if we don't know what is causing that issue to stop or do a certain action, then it's always going to be there. For instance, having children out of wedlock. And then when you realize that all of your children and children's children and your mother, your grandmother, your great grandmother, and everybody else before, they've all had children out of wedlock and none of the fathers stayed. What you now have to realize is you have to break that curse, and then you have to physically do something to change that. And what you have to do is either get married, then have children, or keep your legs closed until the right man comes or the right woman comes along. So that's a part of something that we, on our part, that we have to do. God is not going to stretch his hand out the sky and say, well, now you're baptized and I can do this and I'm going to do this and now your life is straight, fresh, pure, and clean. No, he has set laws that we are to do, instructions that we are to do to have a better life. Don't blame God on things that are happening in your life and say, oh, God is not doing this. God has never done anything for me. It's not like that. We are the ones that have to put the work to practice. One of the scriptures says, we have to renew our minds each and every day. So every day that we wake up, we have to have a better thought than what we had yesterday. We have to think better things. We have to think more positive, think in a way how to solve our issues, what to do, where to go, when to do it, and so forth. So, in that being said, getting baptized is not an overnight fix to having your problems resolved. Sometimes there's going to be a time where you don't have anybody in your life simply because now you're a new creation, you're a new creature. because you're now into Christ. Old things has passed away and all things have become new. So with the renewing of your mind, you're going to be most of the time at a lonely period for a certain amount of time because God needs that time to reconstruct you. He needs time to work on your mind, work on your heart that harbors unforgiveness and hate. Because some of the things that we all go through in life, it can cause us to be hardened, just like Pharaoh. So we have to know these things. Getting baptized and calling on Jesus Christ of Nazareth is not an overnight fix.